In the last 3 years or so, I've lost $28,000. And what that means is I've actually invested $28,000 into my skill sets, into different businesses, into different courses, into different mentorships. And what that actually allowed me to do is change dramatically and quickly. It came with speed. That's why investing into mentorships is genuinely the best way to speed up not only the speed that you make money, but also your actual growth as a human being, your maturity. Because let me tell you, once you make your first big investment, it literally pushes you to move fast, to think fast. The first ever investment was a $5,000 investment. That was for a mentorship into a business, an agency. And once I got there, the thing was I was still a boy, technically. Like my mindset was a boy. I was doing boy things. And I didn't follow through with it. I didn't take it seriously enough. What that experience actually taught me is that I had to try harder. It was not good enough just to put half effort in and expect the results I wanted. I didn't have a strong enough why at that point. So I learned a lesson there in terms of going hard at the goals and having a strong why. So I took that away. A year later, I invested into another business, into mentorship, and that was $9,000. Now, this mentorship in particular, I already learned my lesson from the previous one, so I tried as hard as I could. I put in all the steps, every actionable step. I turned up to every session that I could. I did all the tasks. The unfortunate thing with this is that the actual material that they were teaching and giving me was outdated. It was 6 years outdated. So what they had was really good marketing to get people like me in, but the actual material wasn't good enough for someone like me who's just starting off. If you were already doing well and making decent money in this particular business, you could get results because you just pump money into ads. But when they got people like me and other people in similar situations, and none of us got results, what could they do? I mean, we already paid and we're following the framework, but there was no way we could get our money back. So that taught me a lesson is I could try hard now and I could try long enough now, but I had to be actually careful of what I purchased. So there we go. I'm 14 grand down at this point. And I try and figure out like what do I do now? Because it was no longer a thing I wanted to do. It really put me off. So then a year after that, I invested into sales training. And this was a $6,000 investment. Now, this investment was probably the best one I've ever made, the best coach I've ever had, the best mentorship. And I turned up. I was doing the materials 8 hours a day, role playing, turning up to sessions. I was genuinely incredibly locked in. One of the only people that was working incredibly hard there because I learned my lesson previously. Also, the material, it wasn't outdated, it was material that was applicable to real life. Now, the biggest lesson I learned here is that I couldn't just wait around for other people. I had to take control of my reality and my future because I got accepted into two offers or two jobs basically as a sales closer, as a sales rep. And these were both two businesses that were starting out. And both of these I had to wait a month and a half for until they got started. So I got hired and I had to wait a month and a half. Now that meant I turned down loads of opportunities because I was waiting for these. And they sold me the world basically. They told me that it would be amazing. But it comes around and it's dreadful. I have no calls, I have no work, and they didn't market it well. So what does that mean? I've wasted a month and a half of my time here waiting for other people rather than taking control and saying, actually, I'm just going to go out there and find another job and make money now instead of waiting. What that meant was I'm left a bunch of money on the table. My skill set got worse because I didn't actually practice it. I was just waiting around. And that taught me to stop waiting around, take control of my reality. Every single investment I make teaches me something big for the next one. Now, does that mean it was a bad investment? No. I mean, some may have been, but they all taught me an important lesson. And this is where people get scared. This is where most people give up. Like, I've already spent 20K into my skill set and they don't carry on. But when I look at the reality that you want, that I want, there's two things we can do. One is stay where we are. We don't do anything else, and we just wait for time to figure it out, and we try and like half-ass it. The other part is I invest into speed, because all of these investments meant that the opportunity, the reality that I wanted, would get to me quicker because I'm investing into people who help me get there quicker. Now another year has passed by since then. I've just invested into another sales mentorship, and this one is 10K, and this is the best sales mentorship in the game. So now I'm in a position where I don't know what I'm going to learn from this yet, but I'm very hopeful that this is the one that really breaks me out into generational wealth. But I wouldn't be in this position without having invested 20 grand into myself already. And there's some other investments I made as well that got up to 28 grand. I'm not going to get into every single one. There's some courses and other kind of things. But, I'm in a position now, like I'm what, 28 grand now that I've spent. And it's like, I'm still not where I want to be. But that's fine because most people would give up. Some people get there straight away. Some people don't even need to invest. But that's a very small minority of people. Most of the time it's about resilience, about persistence of actually putting in every single bit of time, commitment, and effort to get there. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not willing to give up. I'm gonna keep going. And that's the biggest difference between someone who is going to get successful or is successful and someone who isn't, because they keep going no matter the burdens, the obstacles. Okay? Because the obstacle is the way. And that's a great book, by the way. It's a decent book if you want to read that. The obstacle is the way. But obstacle is the way. Like whatever is in your way, like the actual obstacle, it's like you figure out, okay, this is there. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna waste time. I'm just gonna figure out how I can go over this obstacle because that's the direction. That's the way for me to go. And that's why, like, I'm never gonna stop investing into my skill set. I could be making no money and I'll still invest. I'll find the money because I understand how important speed is. We're not here forever, but money is an infinite tool that is being printed and generated by the government day in and day out infinitely. So it's not a resource that ends. Time is a resource that ends for us as human beings. Will time ever end? I don't know. I don't know that. But I know as us as human beings will end at some point as of right now. Okay, I don't know if they're gonna make some magic cure in the future where we live forever. But as of right now, we have limited time. That's why when I look at my life or when I talk to someone who's thinking about investing $6,000 into their skill set in trading to get better at trading, and they're looking at $100 per month course, it's like, what's actually important to you? Is speed important to you? Because you can get there quicker and you can learn a lot on this way, or you can just spend even more time, something you have no idea how much you have left of, something that is our most valuable resource, and go that way. But what's actually going to put you in the best position, the better position? What's going to help you improve the most and get to the results that you want quicker? Does it mean it's going to be your first investment, your first $5,000 investment that's going to get you there? Probably not. You're going to have to probably make more investments. But it's these lessons, these big lessons that you take away from every single investment that actually gets you there. So I'm 28 grand in, or about 30K in at this point. And I don't regret it. I'm gonna keep going. That's the persistence side. That's the resilience. Like, and this taught me so much because all of these mentorships I've been part of, I've met different people, different mindsets, and there's so much networking that this allows for you. But also, you get to be around the right people, people who think like you, who behave like you, who want the same results as you. I don't have any real life friends anymore that I used to go to school with or anything like that. I only have people that I've met whilst traveling or whilst being in a program, because these people are who I want to be around. These people is what opens doors for me, new doors, new opportunities. The network I've created now in sales, I get sent offers that are, or jobs that are ridiculous. I get sent them to me personally because of the network I've created, because of the people I've talked to, because of the rooms I'm in. And that comes from investing into yourself. So whatever it is that you want to get good at or you want to make money with, or that's going to change your life, you have to invest into that to speed up the process and actually get over the fear of change, because change is scary, but you're going to have to do it. And the first step to that is making a big investment, because now you put your balls on the table and you're like, shit, now I actually need to perform. I actually do need to do this. So a few lessons: don't be like me. Once you make your first investment, actually go for it. Have a strong enough why. The second one is make sure you do your research. Make sure that the content isn't outdated, and it's not just a marketing scheme. You actually do your research. And the next one is don't wait for opportunity. You create your own opportunity. You get the skill set, and when opportunities come, say yes to everything. You can't afford to wait around. Every single that you wait around is the opportunity cost of your mom still going to work, and she's working there 10, 12 hours, and it's nighttime, and your father going to work, and they're working 7 days a week, and living in a small house together where they don't want to be, in a country they don't want to be in, or days that you feel like a disappointment to the people around you. Like, if you look at it that way, every single day that you're not prioritizing getting that goal with speed is putting them in a more unfortunate position and putting yourself in a worse mindset, because you could do something or you're choosing not to do it with speed. So I hope this helps. I hope this was a good video for you. If you liked it, make sure to like. But more importantly, I would appreciate if you would subscribe if you genuinely got value out of it. If you didn't, do not subscribe. Okay? See you very, very soon.